The oak room buzzed with laughter and the clinking of glasses as we celebrated my birthday. Allison, my wife of 10 years, looked radiant in her crimson dress, her smile lighting up the dimly lit restaurant. The evening was a blur of toasts and well wishes, a fleeting oasis from the stresses of everyday life. As the night wore on, amidst the gentle hum of conversation, a sudden wave of dizziness swept over me. Pain spiked through my head like a thunderbolt, and I collapsed, my consciousness slipping away into darkness. I awoke in a sterile hospital room, the harsh fluorescent lights stark against the blank walls. Voices echoed in my ears, muffled and distant at first, gradually resolving into the grave tones of doctors discussing my condition. A stroke, they said, a cruel twist of fate that left me reeling. Days blurred into weeks of rehabilitation. Allison was there through it all, her presence a constant source of reassurance. I clung to her like a life raft in turbulent waters, grateful for her unwavering support. Returning home felt like stepping into a foreign land. Every movement was a painstaking effort, every task a monumental challenge. I struggled to navigate this new reality, grappling with the sudden loss of independence. One afternoon, returning home earlier than expected from a therapy session, I heard voices, a soft murmur punctuated by laughter. Curiosity mingled with a pang of unease as I followed the sound to our bedroom door. Standing there, hidden in the shadows, I listened. Allison's voice, sweet and animated, blended with a deeper, unfamiliar tone, the voice of a man. My heart sank as I strained to make out their conversation, catching fragments of words that sent chills down my spine. I should have confronted them right then and there, should have demanded answers, but instead, I retreated silently, consumed by a tumult of emotions, fear, disbelief, and a growing sense of betrayal. Later that night, alone in our dimly lit living room, I sank into the plush armchair, staring blankly at the rain streaking down the window pane. Thoughts swirled in my mind like a relentless storm. How long had it been going on? How could she do this to me, especially now, when I needed her the most? The photographs I found tucked away in her drawer, innocent snapshots that now seemed tainted with deceit, haunted me. Text messages are left unread but not unheard. Each piece of evidence is a jagged piece of a shattered trust. Yet amidst the wreckage of my shattered world, a seed of determination took root. I would wait. I would watch it. And when the time was right, I would confront her. For now, I needed to gather strength. To steel myself for the truth that awaited. A truth that could unravel everything I thought I knew about the woman I loved. And so, I sat there in the silence of that rainy night, my mind racing with questions, my heart heavy with a betrayal yet to be unveiled. Days turned into nights, each passing moment etched with the weight of what I had discovered. I moved through the motions of daily life, a facade of normalcy concealing the turmoil within. Allison, unaware of my newfound knowledge, continued her routine with a careful blend of concern and guilt that she couldn't fully hide. The opportunity I sought came on Thursday evening when Allison mentioned a late meeting with colleagues, an excuse I had heard too often in recent weeks. Suspicion gnawed at me, driving me to action. With determination fueling my steps, I resolved to follow her. Quietly slipping into my car, I parked down the street from her office building. Rain pattered against the windshield, echoing the drumbeat of my nerves. The minutes stretched into an eternity as I waited, eyes fixed on the entrance, heart pounding with a mixture of dread and resolve. Finally, Allison emerged, her figure illuminated by the soft glow of streetlights. She glanced around furtively before slipping into the passenger seat of a sleek sedan parked nearby, a car I didn't recognize. My pulse quickened as I watched a silhouette move behind the wheel, then lean over to greet her with a familiar gesture. The realization hit me like a physical blow. There he was, Mark, her coworker, the catalyst of my unraveling world. Anger surged through me, hot and unyielding, but I clenched my fists, forcing myself to stay calm, to observe. They drove off into the night, oblivious to the shadow that trailed them. I followed at a cautious distance, navigating the darkened streets with a mixture of dread and determination. Each turn brought me closer to the truth I had feared yet needed to confront. They arrived at a secluded spot, a dimly lit parking lot at the edge of town. I parked a discreet distance away, my heart hammering in my chest as I watched them exit the car, heads bent close together in whispered conversation. From my vantage point, hidden in the shadows, I saw them laugh and heard the soft cadence of their voices mingling. The intimacy of their interaction cut deeper than any physical pain I had endured. Anguish and disbelief warred within me as I struggled to comprehend the depth of her betrayal. Minutes stretched into hours as I waited, grappling with the harsh reality unfolding before my eyes. The rain continued its relentless descent, mirroring the tumultuous storm raging within me. My mind raced with questions, doubts, and a seething rage that threatened to consume me whole. Finally, they parted ways. A fleeting embrace, a whispered promise. Allison returned home later that night, her expression a fragile mask of concern and feigned affection. She found me waiting in the living room, a silent sentinel guarding the shards of my broken trust. As she crossed the threshold, her eyes met mine. A gaze that faltered, a telltale flicker of guilt that pierced through her carefully constructed facade. At that moment, the weight of unspoken accusations hung heavy in the air, a silent challenge demanding to be acknowledged. I stood, my voice steady despite the tempest raging within. "Where were you tonight, Allison?" The words were a whisper, yet they echoed with the force of a thunderclap in the cavernous silence between us. She froze, caught off guard by the accusation veiled within my question. Panic flickered in her eyes, fleeting but unmistakable. Her lips parted, but no words came forth, only a fragile silence that spoke volumes. I took a step forward, each movement deliberate, purposeful. "I saw you, Allison," I continued, my voice steady despite the tremor in my hands. "With him." The truth hung heavy in the space between us, a gulf that threatened to swallow us whole. And at that moment, as the rain continued its relentless dance outside, the fragile illusion of our marriage shattered irreparably, leaving behind only shards of a trust broken beyond repair. The room felt suffocating still as Allison stood frozen before me, caught in the harsh glare of accusation. Her eyes darted nervously, searching for words that could unravel the web of deceit she had woven. "I don't know what you're talking about," she finally stammered, her voice wavering in a feeble attempt to deny the undeniable. But her trembling hands betrayed the facade, betraying the truth I had witnessed with my own eyes. "You were with him, Allison," I asserted, my voice steady despite the tumult of emotions threatening to consume me. "In that parking lot, laughing, talking." "No, it's not what you think," she interrupted, desperation creeping into her tone as she attempted to salvage the fragments of our shattered reality. "Mark and I, we're just friends. It's nothing more." "Just friends?" I echoed incredulously, a bitter laugh escaping my lips. "Do you think I'm blind? Do you think I haven't seen the texts, the photos?" Allison's facade crumbled further, her gaze flickering with guilt and remorse. "I didn't mean for this to happen," she whispered, her voice barely audible amidst the silence that enveloped us like a shroud. "I never meant to hurt you." Her words echoed hollowly in the air, devoid of the solace I desperately sought. Anger surged through me, raw and unrelenting, threatening to spill over in a torrent of accusations and recriminations. But beneath the anger lay a deeper pain, a profound sense of betrayal that cut to the core of my being. "How long?" I demanded, my voice a harsh whisper that reverberated with the weight of unanswered questions. "How long has this been going on?" Allison hesitated, her eyes darting away guiltily. I don't know," she admitted finally, her voice tinged with resignation. "It started after your stroke. I was lonely and scared. Mark was there for MME. Her words landed like a blow, each syllable a dagger driven into the fragile remnants of trust that had once bound us together. I sank heavily into a nearby chair, the weight of her confession pressing down upon me like a suffocating blanket. "And you didn't think to talk to me?" I murmured. the words escaping in a whisper laced with disbelief. To tell me how you felt? Allison's silence spoke volumes, a confession in itself of the guilt she bore, the secrets she had kept hidden in the shadows. Tears welled in her eyes, a silent testament to the pain we both shared in that moment of reckoning. I thought I was losing you, she finally confessed, her voice trembling with remorse. I was scared. I didn't know how to handle it. Her words struck a chord within me, stirring a flicker of empathy amidst the storm of emotions that threatened to consume us both. I closed my eyes briefly, struggling to find the words to express the depth of my hurt, my betrayal. You didn't lose me, Allison, I murmured, my voice thick with emotion. But you chose to betray me. Silence descended upon us once more, heavy and laden with unspoken regrets. The rain outside had subsided, leaving behind a world washed clean by its relentless tears, a stark contrast to the turmoil raging within. In that moment, as we stood on the precipice of a fractured marriage, I knew that the road ahead would be fraught with challenges. Trust, once shattered, could not easily be repaired. And yet, amidst the wreckage of our broken vows, a glimmer of hope flickered, a tentative promise of healing, of redemption, if we dared to confront the truth and rebuild what had been lost. But for now, as the echoes of our confrontation lingered in the air, we stood on opposite sides of a divide forged by deceit and despair, a divide that neither words nor tears could bridge. And as the night wore on, I was left to wrestle with the haunting question that echoed in the recesses of my heart. Where do we go from here? Days turned into weeks, each passing moment a fragile truce between us. Allison retreated into a shell of remorse, her attempts at reconciliation overshadowed by the chasm of betrayal that now defined our relationship. Meanwhile, I grappled with a whirlwind of emotions, anger, hurt, and a lingering sense of disbelief that threatened to consume me. Conversations became stilted, punctuated by awkward silences and veiled accusations left unspoken. We moved through the routines of daily life like actors on a stage, performing roles of estranged partners bound by duty rather than love. Yet beneath the surface, a fragile tension simmered, a palpable reminder of the rift that had torn through the fabric of our marriage. Nights were spent in restless contemplation, haunted by the specter of Mark's presence in our lives. One evening, unable to bear the suffocating weight of our silence any longer, I broached the subject that had become an unspoken barrier between us. Allison, I began hesitantly, my voice betraying the turmoil within. Where do we go from here? She looked up, her eyes clouded with sorrow. I don't know, she admitted softly, her words weighted with regret. I never wanted to hurt you, to betray your trust. And yet you did, I responded quietly, the bitterness of betrayal lingering in my tone. You chose to turn to him instead of me. Her gaze faltered, a silent admission of guilt that hung heavily between us. I was scared, she confessed, her voice barely above a whisper, scared of losing you, of losing everything we've built together. The words struck a chord within me, a poignant reminder of the fragility of love and the depth of our shared vulnerability. I felt a surge of empathy, tempered by the lingering wounds of deceit that had yet to heal. We need to talk about this, I insisted, my voice firm despite the tremor of uncertainty that gripped me. We can't go on pretending that everything is okay. Allison nodded slowly, her expression a mask of sorrow and resignation. I know, she murmured. I don't know how to fix this. Neither did I. But as we sat in the quiet solitude of our living room, enveloped by the echoes of shattered trust, a flicker of determination ignited within me. A resolve to confront the truth, to seek closure amidst the wreckage of our shattered vows. We have to try, I asserted, my voice stronger now, fortified by the fragile hope of redemption. For us, for our marriage. Allison met my gaze, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. I'm sorry, she whispered, her voice breaking with the weight of regret. I never meant for any of this to happen. I reached out tentatively, bridging the divide that had grown between us. a tentative gesture of reconciliation amidst the wreckage of broken promises. "I know," I murmured, my heart heavy with the weight of forgiveness yet to be granted. And as we sat there, bound together by the echoes of a love tested and fractured, I knew that the road ahead would be fraught with challenges. Trust, once shattered, could not easily be rebuilt, but amidst the shards of our shattered vows, a flicker of hope remained. A fragile promise of healing, of redemption, if we dared to confront the truth and rebuild what had been lost. For now, as the echoes of our tumultuous journey lingered in the air, we stood on the threshold of a fragile truce. A tentative step towards healing, towards a future uncertain yet bound by the shared promise of forgiveness and redemption. As the night wore on, I knew that we had taken the first tentative steps towards rebuilding what had been lost, a journey fraught with obstacles yet tempered by the fragile hope of love renewed. In the aftermath of our confrontation, a fragile peace settled between Allison and me, a delicate truce forged from the ashes of betrayal and the tentative hope of reconciliation. We navigated the days with cautious steps, each moment overshadowed by the specter of Mark and the wounds that had yet to fully heal. Conversations once strained and laden with unspoken grievances gradually thawed into hesitant exchanges. We tiptoed around the elephant in the room, skirting the edges of the painful truth that lingered between us. Yet beneath the surface, a quiet determination simmered, a shared commitment to salvage what remained of our fractured marriage. One afternoon, amidst the mundane routines of daily life, Allison broached the subject that had become a silent barrier between us. "I've been thinking," she began tentatively, her voice a fragile echo in the stillness of our home. "Maybe we should consider counseling." The suggestion hung in the air, a lifeline cast into the turbulent waters of our shattered trust. I hesitated, grappling with the weight of her words and the uncertainty that gnawed at my resolve. "Counseling?" I echoed, my voice tinged with skepticism. "Do you think it will help?" Allison nodded slowly, her eyes searching mine for a flicker of hope. "I think we owe it to ourselves, to our marriage," she murmured earnestly, "to try and work through this." Her words struck a chord within me, a glimmer of optimism amidst the wreckage of broken vows. I nodded reluctantly, a silent acknowledgement of the desperate need to bridge the chasm that had grown between us. "We can't keep pretending that everything is okay," Allison continued softly, her voice tinged with regret. "We need to confront what happened, to find a way forward." Her honesty pierced through the walls of resentment that had fortified my heart. "I agree," I admitted quietly, the admission a reluctant surrender to the painful truth that had reshaped our lives. And so, with hesitant steps and a shared determination, we embarked on a journey of healing, a journey marked by the raw honesty of counseling sessions and the fragile hope of rebuilding what had been lost. Weeks turned into months as we unraveled the tangled threads of our marriage, confronting buried resentments and unspoken fears. The counselor's office became a sanctuary, a space where we stripped away the layers of pretense and faced the stark reality of our shattered trust. There were tears shed, words spoken with raw honesty, and moments of painful silence that echoed with the weight of unspoken regrets. Yet amidst the turmoil, a sense of catharsis began to emerge, a gradual thawing of the ice that had encased our hearts. "We've been through so much," Allison confessed one evening, her voice tinged with vulnerability. "But I still love you." Her words washed over me like a balm, soothing the ache of betrayal that lingered beneath the surface. "I love you too," I murmured, the words a testament to the resilience of love tested and tempered by adversity. In the quiet solitude of our shared journey, we rediscovered the strength to forgive each other, and perhaps most importantly, to forgive ourselves. We learned to navigate the fragile terrain of trust rebuilt from the ashes of betrayal, guided by the tentative hope of a future shaped by renewed commitment and unwavering honesty. And as we stood on the threshold of a fragile reconciliation, I knew that our journey was far from over. But with each tentative step forward, we embraced the promise of love renewed, a love forged not in the absence of pain, but in the courage to confront our deepest fears and emerge stronger together on the other side. The week spent in counseling gradually gave way to a semblance of normalcy, a fragile peace forged through honest conversations and a shared commitment to rebuilding what had been lost. Allison and I navigated the ebb and flow of our days with renewed determination, mindful of the wounds that still lingered beneath the surface. As spring bloomed outside our window, so too did a sense of renewal within our hearts. We found solace in the small moments, a shared smile over breakfast, a gentle touch that spoke volumes of unspoken apologies and forgiveness. One Saturday afternoon, we took a stroll through the neighborhood park, the same park where we had once walked hand in hand, oblivious to the challenges that lay ahead. The air was crisp with the promise of a new season, and for the first time in months, I felt a glimmer of hope stir within me. "I never thought we'd come this far," Allison confessed softly, breaking the comfortable silence that had settled between us. I glanced at her, a mix of emotions flickering across my face. "Neither did I admitted, my voice tinged with gratitude for the journey we had undertaken together. She reached for my hand, her touch tentative yet reassuring. "I'm sorry," she murmured, her eyes searching mine for understanding. "For everything." I squeezed her hand gently, a silent reassurance of forgiveness that transcended words. "We've both made mistakes," I replied softly, the weight of our shared regrets lifting slightly with each breath. As we continued our stroll through the park, the sun dipped lower on the horizon, casting a golden glow over the path ahead. We talked about our fears, our hopes, and the uncertain future that lay before us. But amidst the uncertainty, there was a shared commitment, a promise to cherish each moment, to nurture the fragile bond that had weathered the storm. That evening, as we sat together on the porch watching the sunset, I felt a sense of peace settle over us. A peace born not from the absence of pain, but from the strength we had found in confronting our demons and emerging stronger, together. "We can make this work?" Allison whispered, her voice filled with quiet determination. I nodded, my heart swelling with a newfound sense of optimism. "Yes," I agreed, my voice steady despite the lingering echoes of our tumultuous past. "We can." And as the stars emerged in the twilight sky, casting their gentle glow over our shared sanctuary, I knew that our journey was far from over. But with each passing day, we embraced the promise of a new beginning. A beginning shaped by resilience, forgiveness, and a love that had withstood the trials of time. Together, we walked into the uncertain future, hand in hand, knowing that whatever challenges lay ahead, we would face them together. Bound by a bond forged in the crucible of adversity, and strengthened by the courage to hope, to forgive, and to love anew. Months passed in the gentle rhythm of everyday life, marked by quiet moments of healing and a renewed sense of purpose. Allison and I continued our journey of reconciliation, navigating the complexities of trust and forgiveness with a newfound resilience. In the stillness of our shared moments, we found solace in the art of listening to each other's fears, regrets, and hopes for the future. Our conversations deepened, becoming a lifeline that bridged the gap between past wounds and a tentative future. One evening, as we sat together in our cozy living room, the crackling fireplace casting flickering shadows across the walls, Allison broached a subject that had long lingered unspoken between us. "Do you ever think about what happened?" she asked quietly, her gaze fixed on the dancing flames. I took a moment to gather my thoughts, the weight of her question settling over us like a heavy blanket. "Sometimes," I admitted finally, my voice tinged with a mix of contemplation and acceptance. "But I've come to understand that dwelling on the past won't change what happened." Allison nodded thoughtfully, her expression a reflection of the introspection that had defined our journey of healing. "I've been reflecting a lot too," she confessed, her voice filled with quiet sincerity. "About the choices I made and the pain I caused." Her words resonated with me, stirring a sense of empathy and understanding that transcended the scars of betrayal. "It wasn't easy," I acknowledged softly, reaching out to gently squeeze her hand. "But we've both grown from it." In the weeks and months that followed, we embraced the process of growth, a process marked by introspection, humility, and a shared commitment to learning from our mistakes. We attended counseling sessions regularly, delving deeper into the roots of our struggles and the dynamics that shaped our marriage. Through the guidance of our counselor, we learned to communicate more openly and authentically, and to confront our vulnerabilities with courage rather than retreat into silence. We navigated the intricacies of rebuilding trust, one honest conversation at a time, and celebrated small victories along the way. As the seasons shifted once more, bringing the vibrant hues of autumn to our doorstep, I found myself reflecting on the journey we had traveled together. Our marriage, once teetering on the brink of collapse, had emerged stronger, tempered by the trials we had weathered and the lessons we had learned. "We've come a long way," Allison remarked one evening, her voice filled with a quiet pride. "And I'm grateful for the second chance we've been given." I nodded, a smile tugging at the corners of my lips. "Me too," I replied sincerely, my heart swelling with gratitude for the resilience of love that had carried us through the storm. As we stood on the threshold of a future shaped by forgiveness and growth, I knew that our journey was far from over. But with each passing day, we embraced the promise of a shared path, a path illuminated by the lessons of our past, and the hope of a future built on a foundation of honesty, trust, and unwavering love. Together, we walked hand in hand into the uncertainty of tomorrow, knowing that whatever challenges lay ahead, we would face them together, bound by the unbreakable bond forged in the crucible of our shared journey. As the seasons continued to change, so did the landscape of our relationship. Allison and I found ourselves embracing a new chapter marked by renewal and reaffirmation, a chapter defined by the quiet strength of forgiveness and the unwavering commitment to our shared future. Spring bloomed anew outside our windows, casting a vibrant tapestry of colors across the world. Our home, once a battleground of unspoken grievances and shattered trust, now echoed with the gentle cadence of healing and hope. We spent weekends exploring new places together, taking leisurely walks in the park, savoring quiet moments at our favorite cafes, and rediscovering the simple joys that had once defined our love. Laughter, once a rare visitor, now graced our home with its infectious warmth. "I never thought we'd find our way back to this," Allison confessed one afternoon, her eyes shimmering with a mix of gratitude and wonder. I smiled, my heart swelling with a profound sense of gratitude for the journey we had undertaken together. "Neither did I admitted softly, reaching for her hand as we strolled along a sun-dappled path. The scars of our past remained, a reminder of the trials we had faced and the resilience that had carried us through. But they no longer defined us. Instead, they served as a testament to the strength of our love, a love that had weathered the storm and emerged stronger and more resilient than before. In the quiet moments of reflection, I found myself marveling at the depth of Allison's courage, the courage to confront her vulnerabilities, to acknowledge her mistakes, and to commit wholeheartedly to our shared journey of healing. "We've both grown so much," I remarked one evening, gazing at her with a sense of awe. "And I'm grateful for the person you've become." Allison's smile was radiant, a reflection of the inner peace she had found amidst the turmoil of our past. "I'm grateful too," she murmured, her voice a soft echo of the profound transformation that had reshaped our lives. Together, we continued to attend counseling sessions, not as a reminder of past wounds, but as a beacon of guidance. A space where we nurtured the roots of our newfound resilience and celebrated the milestones of our shared growth. "We've come a long way," Allison remarked one evening, her eyes shimmering with pride as we sat together on our porch, watching the sunset in a blaze of golden hues. I nodded, my heart overflowing with a sense of contentment and gratitude for the love that had carried us through the darkest of nights. "And I wouldn't want to be on this journey with anyone else," I replied sincerely, my voice tinged with a quiet certainty. As we stood on the threshold of a future shaped by forgiveness and renewal, I knew that our journey was far from over. But with each passing day, we embraced the promise of a shared path, a path illuminated by the lessons of our past and the hope of a future built on a foundation of honesty, trust, and unwavering love. Together we walked hand in hand into the uncertainty of tomorrow, knowing that whatever challenges lay ahead, we would face them together, bound by the unbreakable bond forged in the crucible of our shared journey. The passage of time seemed to melt away the shadows of our tumultuous past, leaving in its wake a profound sense of gratitude and renewal. Allison and I found ourselves navigating a chapter of our lives characterized by the celebration of renewed love, a love that had endured trials and emerged stronger and more resilient than ever before. Summer arrived in a blaze of warmth and sunshine, infusing our days with a sense of optimism and possibility. We embraced the season with open arms, savoring each moment of joy and connection that graced our lives. Weekends became a tapestry of shared adventures, a spontaneous road trip to the coast, lazy afternoons picnicking in sun-dappled meadows, and evenings spent stargazing under the vast expanse of the night sky. Laughter became the soundtrack of our days, echoing through our home like a melody of healing and hope. "I never imagined we'd find ourselves here," Allison confessed one evening, her eyes alight with wonder as we sat together on the porch swing, a gentle breeze playing with strands of her hair. I smiled, my heart swelling with a profound sense of gratitude for the journey we had embarked upon together. "Neither did I admitted softly, reaching out to take her hand in mine. The scars of our past had faded into the background, a testament to the resilience of our love and the strength we had found in each other. We no longer tiptoed around the wounds that had once threatened to tear us apart. Instead, we embraced our imperfections and celebrated the growth that had blossomed from the ashes of our shared struggles. In the quiet moments of reflection, I marveled at the depth of Allison's courage, the courage to confront her vulnerabilities, to acknowledge her mistakes, and to commit wholeheartedly to our journey of healing and renewal. "We've come so far," I remarked one evening, gazing at her with a sense of awe as we lingered in the glow of a setting sun. Allison's smile was radiant, a reflection of the inner peace she had found amidst the storm of our past. "And we're stronger because of it," she murmured, her voice a soft echo of the profound transformation that had reshaped our lives. Together, we continued to cherish the rituals of connection that had become the foundation of our renewed bond. A nightly ritual of sharing our highs and lows, a Sunday morning tradition of brewing coffee together, and spontaneous acts of kindness that spoke volumes of our commitment to each other. As summer drew to a close, we found ourselves standing on the threshold of a future bathed in the warm glow of love and possibility. Our journey was far from over, but with each passing day, we embraced the promise of a shared path, a path illuminated by the lessons of our past and the hope of a future built on a foundation of honesty, trust, and unwavering devotion. Together we walked hand in hand into the uncertainty of tomorrow, knowing that whatever challenges lay ahead, we would face them together, bound by the unbreakable bond forged in the crucible of our shared journey and strengthened by the enduring power of love rediscovered. As autumn painted the world in hues of gold and amber, Allison and I found ourselves reflecting on the profound journey that had reshaped our lives. Our relationship had blossomed from the ashes of betrayal into a tapestry woven with threads of forgiveness, resilience, and unwavering love. We spent evenings cozied up by the fire, the crackling flames a backdrop to our conversations filled with dreams and aspirations. The air was crisp with the promise of change, mirroring the transformation that had taken root within our hearts. "I've been thinking about our future," Allison began one evening, her voice soft with contemplation as we sat together on the porch swing. I turned to her, curiosity sparking within me. "What do you see?" I asked gently, eager to glimpse the vision she held for the path ahead. Her gaze met mine, her eyes alight with a quiet determination. "I see us," she replied earnestly, her words resonating with a sense of hope and possibility, building a life together filled with love, laughter, and shared adventures. Her words struck a chord deep within me, a testament to the resilience of our love and the strength we had found in each other. "I see that too," I admitted, my voice a reflection of the certainty that had blossomed within me. In the weeks that followed, we embarked on a journey of planning and dreaming, a journey that felt like a celebration of the second chance we had been given. We talked about travel destinations we longed to explore, projects we wanted to undertake together, and the simple joys of building a home filled with love and laughter. Counseling sessions continued to be a cornerstone of our journey, a space where we nurtured the roots of our renewed bond and sought guidance in navigating the challenges that lay ahead. Together, we learned to communicate with honesty and vulnerability, confront our fears, and celebrate our victories as a team. "I never thought we'd come this far," Allison remarked one evening, her voice tinged with gratitude as we reflected on the milestones we had overcome. I nodded, my heart swelling with pride for the resilience we had discovered within ourselves and each other. "Neither did I admitted softly, reaching out to squeeze her hand in silent affirmation. As autumn deepened into winter, we found ourselves looking towards the future with renewed hope and anticipation. The scars of our past had faded into the background, replaced by the promise of a life filled with love, growth, and endless possibilities. Together, we stood on the threshold of a new chapter, a chapter illuminated by the lessons of our past and the unwavering commitment to cherish each moment, nurture our love, and embrace the journey of growth and renewal that lay ahead. As we walked hand in hand into the uncertainty of tomorrow, I knew with certainty that whatever challenges and joys awaited us, we would face them together, bound by the unbreakable bond forged in the crucible of our shared journey and strengthened by the enduring power of love rediscovered. Winter settled upon us with a blanket of snow, transforming our world into a quiet oasis of peace and reflection. Allison and I found ourselves immersed in the warmth of our home, cocooned in the love that had weathered the storms of our past and emerged stronger and more resilient than ever before. As the new year dawned, we embraced the promise of fresh beginnings, a chapter filled with hope, renewal, and the quiet joy of rediscovering each other. Our days were marked by shared moments of laughter and tenderness, a testament to the healing that had taken root within our hearts. One snowy evening, as we sat by the fire, the soft crackling of logs filling the air with a comforting rhythm, Allison turned to me with a smile that lit up the room. "I've been thinking," she began, her voice gentle yet filled with a sense of purpose, "about our next steps." I leaned in, captivated by the anticipation in her eyes. "What do you have in mind?" I asked, curious to hear her vision for our future. Her smile widened, a reflection of the dream she held close to her heart. "I want us to start planning our next adventure," she replied, her voice tinged with excitement. "Something that's just ours, a journey that reflects the strength of our love and the resilience of our bond." Her words stirred a sense of anticipation within me, a yearning to embrace the possibilities that lay ahead together. "I love that idea," I admitted, my voice filled with admiration for her unwavering optimism and determination. In the days that followed, we pored over maps and travel guides, envisioning destinations that spoke to our shared sense of adventure and discovery. We dreamed of exploring far-off landscapes, immersing ourselves in new cultures, and creating memories that would weave themselves into the fabric of our shared story. Counseling sessions continued to be a cornerstone of our journey, a space where we continued to deepen our understanding of each other, celebrate our growth, and navigate the challenges that arose with grace and compassion. "We've come a long way," Allison remarked one evening, her voice filled with gratitude as we reflected on the milestones we had overcome together. I nodded, a sense of pride swelling within me for the resilience we had discovered within ourselves and each other. "And I'm grateful for every step of this journey," I replied sincerely, reaching out to clasp her hand in mine. As winter slowly gave way to the promise of spring, we found ourselves standing on the threshold of a new chapter. A chapter defined by the courage to dream, the strength to embrace change, and the unwavering commitment to nurturing the love that had transformed our lives. Together we walked hand in hand into the uncertainty of tomorrow, knowing with certainty that whatever challenges and joys awaited us, We would face them together, bound by the unbreakable bond forged in the crucible of our shared journey and strengthened by the enduring power of love rediscovered. As spring unfolded its petals, Allison and I found ourselves immersed in a season of reflection, a time to pause and celebrate the milestones of our journey and to look ahead with gratitude and anticipation. The warmth of the sun kissed our faces as we sat together in our garden, surrounded by the vibrant colors of blooming flowers. A sense of peace settled over us, a testament to the healing that had unfolded within our hearts. "I can't believe how far we've come," Allison murmured, her gaze wandering over the garden as if tracing the contours of our shared history. I nodded, a smile tugging at the corners of my lips. "It's been quite a journey," I agreed softly, my voice filled with awe for the resilience and love that had carried us through. In the months since our reconciliation, our relationship had blossomed into a tapestry woven with threads of forgiveness, growth, and renewed commitment. We had navigated challenges with grace, celebrated victories with joy, and cherished the ordinary moments that now held profound meaning. Counseling had become a source of strength, a place where we continued to deepen our connection, unearth layers of understanding, and fortify the foundation of our love. Together, we learned to communicate with honesty and vulnerability, to confront our fears with courage, and to embrace the transformative power of forgiveness. "I'm proud of us," Allison confessed one evening, her voice soft with emotion as we sat together on the porch swing, a gentle breeze stirring the air around us. "And I'm grateful," I replied sincerely, my heart overflowing with a profound sense of gratitude for the journey we had embarked upon together. As we looked towards the future, we found ourselves dreaming anew of shared adventures, of deepening our bonds, and of building a life filled with love, laughter, and purpose. We talked about the dreams we held close to our hearts, the aspirations that fueled our souls, and the legacy we hoped to leave behind. In the quiet moments of reflection, I marveled at the depth of Allison's resilience, the courage to confront her vulnerabilities, to acknowledge her mistakes, and to commit wholeheartedly to our shared journey of healing and renewal. "We've created something beautiful," Allison remarked one evening, her eyes shimmering with pride as we reflected on the growth that had blossomed from our shared struggles. I nodded, my heart swelling with a sense of fulfillment and pride for the love that had carried us through the darkest of nights. "And I wouldn't want to be on this journey with anyone else," I replied sincerely, my voice tinged with a quiet certainty. As spring unfolded its petals around us, we embraced the promise of a future filled with possibility, gratitude, and the unwavering commitment to cherish each moment, nurture our love, and celebrate the journey that had transformed our lives. Together we walked hand in hand into the uncertainty of tomorrow, knowing with certainty that whatever challenges and joys awaited us, we would face them together, bound by the unbreakable bond forged in the crucible of our shared journey and strengthened by the enduring power of love rediscovered. As summer arrived in a blaze of warmth and color, Allison and I found ourselves immersed in a season of joy and new beginnings, a time to embrace the possibilities that lay ahead and to celebrate the love that had carried us through. Our days were filled with the simple pleasures of life: morning walks along the beach, lazy afternoons picnicking in sun-dappled meadows, and evenings spent stargazing under the canopy of the night sky. Laughter echoed through our home like a melody of healing and hope, a testament to the resilience of our love. One sunny afternoon, as we lounged in the shade of a sprawling oak tree in our favorite park, Allison turned to me with a radiant smile. "I've been thinking," she began, her voice filled with a sense of excitement and anticipation. I leaned in, captivated by the sparkle in her eyes. "About what?" I asked, curious to hear her thoughts. Her smile widened, a reflection of the dreams she held close to her heart. "I think it's time," she replied softly, her words laced with hope and determination. Time for us to take the next step. I felt a surge of anticipation within me, a longing to embrace the future we had dared to dream of together. "What do you have in mind?" I asked eagerly, eager to share in her vision. Allison took a deep breath, her gaze steady as she met mine. "I want us to start a family," she confessed, her voice filled with a mix of vulnerability and excitement. The words hung in the air between us, carrying with them the weight of possibility and the promise of new beginnings. Emotions surged within me, a blend of joy, gratitude, and a profound sense of awe for the woman who had stood by my side through it all. "I would love that," I replied sincerely, my voice tinged with emotion as I reached for her hand. More than anything, in the days and weeks that followed, we embarked on a new chapter. A chapter defined by the anticipation of parenthood, the joy of creating a family, and the unwavering commitment to nurture the love that had transformed our lives. Counseling sessions continued to be a cornerstone of our journey, a space where we continued to deepen our connection, celebrate our growth, and navigate the challenges that arose with grace and compassion. "I never imagined we'd come this far," Allison remarked one evening, her voice filled with gratitude as we reflected on the milestones we had overcome together. I nodded, my heart overflowing with pride for the resilience we had discovered within ourselves and each other. "And I'm grateful for every step of this journey," I replied sincerely, reaching out to clasp her hand in mine. As summer unfolded its petals around us, we embraced the promise of a future filled with possibility, gratitude, and the unwavering commitment to cherish each moment, nurture our love, and celebrate the journey that had brought us to this moment. Together we walked hand in hand into the uncertainty of tomorrow, knowing with certainty that whatever challenges and joys awaited us, we would face them together, bound by the unbreakable bond forged in the crucible of our shared journey and strengthened by the enduring power of love rediscovered. The invitation to their secret sanctuary nestled deep in the woods came unexpectedly, a whispered promise of solitude and shared intimacy. Allison's eyes gleamed with mischief and anticipation as she packed a picnic basket with their favorite treats, a mischievous smile playing on her lips. "We could use a little escape," she said softly, her voice carrying the promise of adventure as she glanced at me. I nodded, my heart quickening with excitement mingled with a trace of apprehension. The sanctuary held memories of clandestine meetings and stolen kisses, a place where we had once retreated to find solace from the world's demands. As we drove through winding roads framed by towering trees, the familiar sense of anticipation enveloped us. The air was thick with the scent of pine and earth, a sanctuary of nature that mirrored the sanctuary we sought in each other's embrace. Parking the car at the familiar trailhead, we hiked in comfortable silence, the crunch of leaves underfoot punctuating our thoughts. Allison's hand found mine naturally, fingers intertwining in a silent reassurance of the bond that had weathered storms. When we reached the secluded clearing by the tranquil lake, sunlight filtered through the canopy above, dappling the ground with golden hues. Allison spread out the blanket with practiced ease, her movements graceful and purposeful. "I've missed this place," she confessed softly, her eyes meeting mine with a depth of emotion that echoed my own. I settled beside her, the tension of everyday life melting away in the peace of our sanctuary. Laughter danced between us as we reminisced about simpler times, our voices blending with the gentle lapping of water against the shore. Allison's laughter, unguarded and free, echoed through the trees, a melody that resonated deep within me. She shed the mask I had worn for so long, revealing vulnerability and authenticity that stirred something profound within my soul. "I've missed us," I admitted quietly, my voice a whisper against the backdrop of nature's symphony. She turned to me, her eyes shimmering with unspoken words. Without a word, we leaned in, lips meeting in a kiss that spoke volumes of longing, forgiveness, and the quiet strength of our love. In the sanctuary of our secret place, surrounded by the beauty of nature and the warmth of shared memories, we rediscovered the essence of what had drawn us together. Time seemed to stand still as we embraced, hearts beating in rhythm with the pulse of the world around us. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a soft glow over our sanctuary, we lingered in the tranquil moment, unwilling to let go of the peace we had found. Hand in hand, we walked back to the car, hearts lighter and spirits renewed. Driving home under the veil of twilight, I glanced at Allison, her profile bathed in the soft glow of passing streetlights. Our sanctuary had become a sanctuary once more, a place where we shed our masks, embraced vulnerability, and rediscovered the enduring power of our love. Together, we returned to the world outside our sanctuary, knowing with certainty that we carried within us the strength of our bond. A bond forged in the quiet retreat of our secret place and strengthened by the journey of healing and rediscovery we had embarked upon together. The serene days of their retreat seemed a distant memory as a storm brewing within me, fueled by suspicions that had lingered beneath the surface. Allison's behavior had shifted subtly, a fleeting glance here, a hushed conversation there, that stirred unease in the depths of my heart. One evening, I arrived home unexpectedly, the weight of uncertainty heavy upon me. The house was cloaked in silence, a stark contrast to the laughter and warmth that had once filled its halls. In the dim light of our living room, shadows danced ominously across the walls. I found Allison in our study, her back turned to me as she stared blankly at her phone. The air between us crackled with tension, a palpable silence that spoke volumes of the rift that had widened between us. "I need to talk to you," I said quietly, my voice betraying the turmoil within. Allison turned slowly, her eyes meeting mine with an unreadable expression. Guilt flickered in their depths, mingling with a trace of defiance. "What is it?" she asked, her tone guarded yet tinged with resignation. I took a deep breath, steeling myself against the flood of emotions threatening to engulf me. "I've noticed things," I began, my voice steady despite the storm raging within. "Things that don't add up." Her mask slipped momentarily, a flicker of fear crossing her features before she regained her composure. "What are you talking about?" she countered, her voice tinged with a hint of defiance. I shook my head, disbelief warring with the truth I could no longer ignore. "Don't pretend," I pleaded softly, the weight of betrayal settling like a leaden weight upon my chest. "I've seen the messages, the secret glances." Allison's mask cracked, vulnerability seeping through the facade she had meticulously maintained. "I didn't mean for this to happen," she whispered, her voice trembling with the weight of confession. "Why?" The word escaped my lips before I could stop it, raw with pain and confusion. "Why did you do this?" Tears welled in Allison's eyes, a silent plea for understanding. "I don't know," she admitted softly, her voice breaking. I thought I could handle it on my own." The room felt suffocating, the air thick with the shattered fragments of trust and the echoes of unspoken words. I struggled to comprehend the depth of betrayal that had unfolded before me, grappling with the realization that the sanctuary we had once cherished had become a battleground of shattered dreams. "I trusted you," I whispered, my voice hoarse with emotion as I turned away, unable to bear the sight of the pain etched upon her face. Allison reached out tentatively, her touch hesitant against my arm. "Please," she implored, her voice thick with remorse, "let me explain." But explanations felt hollow against the backdrop of betrayal that loomed between us. A chasm widening with every heartbeat, separating us from the love we had fought so hard to reclaim. In the silence that followed, I found myself grappling with a maelstrom of emotions, grief for the shattered trust, anger at the deception, and a profound sense of loss for the future we had dared to dream of together. As I stood in the wreckage of our once cherished sanctuary, I realized with a heavy heart that some wounds cut deeper than forgiveness can heal. A truth that echoed in the hollow ache that filled the spaces where our love had once thrived. The confrontation had come, and with it, the unraveling of the fragile threads that had bound us together, a stark reminder of the fragility of trust and the devastation wrought by betrayal. And in the stillness of that moment, as Allison stood before me, her gaze haunted by regret, I knew that the road ahead would be marked not by the promise of renewal, but by the painful reckoning of a love that had been lost.